Hello everyone, welcome to the first episode of PROPAINTNITY. This is basically a series of videos of me showing you guys how I customize dolls while I simultaneously curse throughout the videos because I love being offensive. It's profanity and paint, okay? Not that hard to figure out. Okay, so me personally, I don't really like dolls. Not to the point they freak me out, it's just I'm not that fond of them, but some time ago I came across Delightful's channel and I was like, that looks like a lot of fun. So I decided to start off myself. Since this is the first video, it's just going to be an overview of what can be done and what cannot be done to a doll in terms of customizing it. So for this episode, I'm going to show you how I turn this doll into this doll. Why a devil, you might ask? It's fucking Halloween, I think it's appropriate. So yeah, without further ado. Okay, so start off with the doll that I'm going to be using. I bought these dolls from AliExpress. I bought 6 of them. I believe they were $6 each. One of the doll is very poorly made. As you can see, there's a dent on the whole area of the head, and there's also a dent on the neck area of the body. Since this is my first time doing doll customizing, I'm just going to be using this doll because, well, for the obvious reason. Also, only one of the lower leg can rotate while the other can't. This is just the perfect choice for me to test the water of this whole thing. The hair of the doll is actually not glued on the inside, so if I just pull it, it will come right off. Makes my job easier. Here I'm erasing the rest of the face using nail polish remover, and let me tell you guys, get 100% A-stone, use it because using nail polish remover is such a struggle. Here I have a pen that fits snugly around the hull of the head. Here I have a plastic cup. I cut a small hole on it and push the pen through, and I have a doll head stand. I'm removing both of the lower arms, hands, and both of the feet. I'm giving all the parts a quick wipe of nail polish remover. I heard you cannot use 100% A-stone for this part because it will melt the body, so yeah. I gave the whole doll a first coat of Mr. Super Clear. Don't forget to wear a respirator unless you wanna kill yourself that way, then go the fuck ahead. I got 2 boxes of soft pastels, one from Reeves and one from Mungyo. But what the fuck is up with the Mungyo? I mean, what the fuck is this? This is so fucking small. Since the soft pastels from the brand Reeves are so much bigger, I'm going to use them for the base color since I'm going to change the color of the doll. And I'm going to use the ones from Mungyo to shade the body and the head. I'm using a nail file to scratch the pastel and get the powder. I recommend you using mask because the powder is gonna be everywhere. I didn't use mask and my booger turned literally red. So yeah, keep that in mind. Once you have enough powder, you can start blushing and coloring the body, one layer at a time. Just keep blushing until you get one solid color. It took me about 5 or 6 layers of soft pastel, and this is a very long process, so just be patient. And if you don't want to be patient, get yourself an airbrush, but I'm a broke ass bitch, so I can afford it. I start, what's that called, shading the body. I recommend you to use a pretty drastic color for shading, like I'm using dark brown here instead of darker shade of red. I used darker shade of red earlier and it didn't make much difference, so just use a pretty contrasting color for shading. Here is what it looks like after I shaded, and then I gave it the final spray of Mr. Super Clear. Now we're going to take care of the lower part of the body. I loop strands of acrylic yarn onto a pen or basically anything that is sturdy enough. After that, you can start brushing it with a pet brush from the bottom upwards. Take the excess fluff from earlier and start cutting it into tiny bits. I'll start gluing the fluff bits on the lower part of the body. This part can be frustrating because the fluff sticks to almost everything and it's just annoying, so take your time if you're doing this. Once it's all covered, you can start mixing some water and some white glue together and brushing it all over the part you just did. After it's done, leave it to dry. I start working on the head. Using a needle, I puncture a hole for the horns I'm gonna be making later. I thread wire into the head for the structure of the horns. I'm using epoxy sculpt to make the actual horns. The epoxy sculpt that I got is in shit quality. The part A is so easily hardened. This part wasn't fun for me to do. Here is what it looks like after I finish sculpting it. I also attempted to change the face shape. After the epoxy sculpt is cured, you can start sanding it. That's just a sandpaper that I glue to a popsicle stick. Sometimes you just gotta make do out of everything. I'm also using Salon Shaper to sand it. This is not a Dremel, this is very cheap. I bought it for like 35,000 rupiahs, which is around $2.50. It's a great alternative. Also try to make it as smooth and seamless as possible. Using the same method I did to the body, I changed the head color. It only took 2 or 3 layers of soft pastel to change the head color. It didn't take as much effort as the body did. When you're satisfied with the color, you can go ahead and shade it. Using watercolor pencils, I start sketching the face. I continued using acrylic paint, and trust me, this makes the face a lot better. Just do it carefully for the best result. Here is the finished face. I'm going to paint the scalp and the horns black. I paint the scalp black because I want to flock the hair later. Also, I give him sideburns because, well, why not? Here I start flocking the hair. Water down some white glue and secure the hair with it. I ironed the wefts that I made earlier. I wanna make some goatee. The iron actually was very cheap. It was like $1.50 or something, and I'm surprised it did the job. I was skeptical. I mean, $1.50 for an iron. That's just too cheap to be true. Would it blow up in my face? But either way, I'm liking the idea, and this one actually does the job, so I am not complaining. I grabbed a little bit of weft and decided to give him a very long goatee. I have this Mr. Color gloss super clear thingy. I thought it was a regular gloss varnish, so I mixed it with water, and turned out it's not, and it ruined the body. You'll see it later. As you can see, that thing leaves this foggy residue, so lesson learned, I'm not gonna do that ever again. I gotta buy another kind of varnish, a real gloss varnish this time. But the hair turned out so much better than I expected, so that's kind of great. I popped the head back in and my very first custom doll is complete. For a first timer, I think I did a pretty solid job, so I'm kinda proud of myself for finishing this project. It took me a whole week and 1.5 can of Mr. Super Clear to finish the whole thing. I also hope that I can gradually get better at this thing. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want. If you don't want to, then fuck off. Bye.